This is the Mad Dragons Podcast.
G'day ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Mad Dragons Podcast. It is Team List Tuesday, with the Dragons taking on the Cronulla Sharks at Cogger this weekend, with both teams looking to get back in the winner's circle after both having losses last week. We'll go through the team list in a moment, but before we do, I'll just introduce the panel for tonight. We got Big T,
Hello,
and Chloe. How you going, guys?
Hey, good, thank you.
yeah, good. Thanks, mate.
Okay, now, so I'll go through the team list now, and then we'll get into our behind enemy lines. So the only change that's been made this week is on the bench, with Toby Couchman coming in to replace Michael Molo. So from the top, we've got Terrell Sloan at fullback, Finai and Ravalawa on the wings, Sully and Lomax in the centres, Jaden Sullivan and Bent Hunt in the halves, Frankie Molo, Moses Sambai for some reason, Blake Laurie, Ben Murdoch Masilla, Jade Masua and Jack Bird in the forwards. And on the bench, we've got Jacob Little, Zane Musgrove, Toby Couchman, and Josh Kerr to round that out. So, Chloe, any surprises in the Dragons lineup for you, or is this what you think Anthony Griffin was going to go with Couchman being available again?
I was hoping that Jacob Little would actually be 9 instead of Mumbai, so that's annoying me. So this is just a shout out to the Dragons coaching staff. In future, could you put Mumbai on the bench and put Little on number 9? Thank you.
Well, they never listened to us before, Chloe, but hope springs eternal.
I know.
So now, Muzza, one notable absentee this week is Jack DeBellin. Do you think we're going to miss his defence in the middle? And could he have made a difference, A, against the Broncos last week, and B, this week against the Sharkies?
Absolutely and absolutely. You don't have to be a dummy to work out what he brings, that defensive structure up the middle. We've definitely missed him against the Broncos in the late stages. Obviously, he would have had some time off the field, so if he was there, we probably would have seen him at the back end of that game. And a lot of those, some of those misses may have been avoided, but it is what it is. What happened in that 10 minutes? Like I said, I had some internet troubles and I missed that last 10 minutes, thankfully. But I think, yeah, look, absolutely. He's we all know what his defence is like. He just cuts blokes down like trees. And I just hope when he does come back, that he comes back fit enough to be able to make an impact again.
Yeah, I mean, the other question you got to ask is, when he does come back, who's the most likely candidate to drop out? Wants to go with it?
Yeah. Well, obviously Molo's already dropped out, so he probably would have been the first. Probably on form over the last game and a half. Maybe Big Benny, Murdoch Masala. Maybe he's been a little bit quiet. Give him a rest or give him a couple of runs in Reggie's. But I think he's got a lot to add to the side as well. Murdoch Masala, I really do. He's a big unit who can cause some trouble up the middle as well. But yeah, maybe that's where he makes way for Jack initially.
Yeah, look, I think you're probably right. Murdoch Masilla had a pretty decent game, sort of first up against the Titans, but was a little bit quiet last week. So hopefully he can do a little bit better this week. But yeah, if DeBellin does come back, unless he has an absolute blinder this week, I think Murdoch Masilla might be the guy to step aside. So now we'll move on to behind enemy lines. Big T, who have we got from the Sharkies this week?
Come with me as we go behind enemy lines.
All right, before I introduce our guest tonight, I'll run through the Sharkies, or what I call them, the Gummies team. We've got Kennedy at the back, Sonny Katoa and Ronaldo on the wings, Ramian and Talakai, Matty Moylan, and this one's a big in for the Sharks. They've got Nico Hines is back this week, Rodolfo and Haminueli, Blake Brayley, Nikora and what's his name, Wilton in the second row, Finucane on the bench, one of our old favourites, Innes. You've got Hunt, Kafusi and Trindle's on the bench this week, coming back with Nico Hines coming back. Okay, I'd like to introduce you now to Dan. Dan's from podcasts Fins Up and Rugby League Outlaws. Welcome, Dan. Sharkies fan, eh?
Mate, born and bred into it, had no choice. My kids have no choice, but that one premiership made it all worthwhile. Thanks for having me on, guys. It's an absolute pleasure to talk to little brother, because we're big brother now.
No, we've been here longer.
Right, boot him.
Okay, we'll start off first. Nico Hines, a big plus for you guys. Tell us what you missed about Nico Hines and what he's going to bring.
Literally everything, mate. I don't know if you guys saw the Canberra game the other night, but we had him on the rack and we couldn't put him away. We've lacked class.
He's won everything that game. They won everything. The meters, everything. He won everything.
Every single stat was in our favour except the scoreline, which is the only one that matters. Look, the Sharks were so Nico Hines-centric last season that I think we became a little bit reliant on him. Obviously, say about your halfback, but I mean, we lost this past weekend. The Dally M halfback, Dally M Mellors comes back in. You start to feel more confident and comfortable. I mean, I've been waiting for this for 3 weeks. I didn't want to risk him against you guys, but it's at a point where we need him to start winning games. So very, very happy to see our boy back.
Yeah, we're on the field with Nico Hines in the side now. Who else do we have to watch to try and stop the Sharks this week?
Will Kennedy's been one of the former players of the competition across the opening couple of weeks. Teague Wilden and Britton Nikora are huge out wide. I think if you guys shut Ramian and Talakai down, you'll beat us up the middle. We haven't won a middle battle for as long as I can remember. So out wide is where it's at for Cronulla, and obviously my boy Nico Hines.
Yeah, Nico Hines is a huge in for you guys. I have tipped the Sharks to win the comp this year. I'll be honest with you. I thought they were tremendous across the park. They haven't got a lot of weaknesses. Like you were saying, through the middles, you're a little bit weak. Off the bench, you've got Oregon Kafusi and there's a Braden Trindle off the bench. Are they going to be weaknesses for the side?
Look, Trindle's been so good. Whenever he plays 80 minutes, he's one of our better players. He was thrown in last year with 10 minutes to go and expected to do something. I mean, with the greatest respects to the kid, he hasn't got 200 NRL games. He's still a relative rookie. So asking a bit much of him in that role, I think it's, and I'm hoping here, if Cronulla go up by 18 points at any stage, Nico comes off, puts his feet up, and Trindle ices the game. Or Matt Moylan, who has defended terribly, and he's one of my favourite players of all time. I love Muzza. The bloke has just forgotten how to tackle. If you guys attack him, get on top of him, well, then we can pull him off, say, he's got a niggle, put Trindle back on. As for Kafusi, no, I the exact opposite. I think he's our big weapon off the bench. I love Royce Hunt, but I mean, we saw his skin can be got under, and he can, he cost us a try this weekend against Corey Horsburgh, who, with the greatest respects, isn't exactly an Origin prop. Cam McInnes is too small to make that up the middle, so I think Kafusi's our big weapon off the bench, actually.
Okay, fair enough. Well, the Sharks have won 26 games this year. 26 games in our competition together. Why are they going to make it 27 on the weekend?
I think for the first time, our number 9's better than the opposition number 9. Again, I say with the greatest respects to Moses and Bayer. I think Bradley's a little bit better, but he's got to run. Look, I think it comes down to our centres. I think, I love Sully and I love Lomax, but they don't have the meters that our boys can make. I think we got to take the pressure off the forwards. It'll be much cooler than it was in Canberra. Trust me, I was there. It was like 45 degrees. So I'm looking forward to that, to see what our middle forwards can produce. If we can hold your middles, our halves, Nico Hines can outplay Sullivan. I think he's the obvious reason. Nico Hines.
Fair enough, mate. Well, when we have a special guest on, I like to take a trip down memory lane, and go back to we did give you a drubbing in 2010, 38-0, and a flogging 42-6 in 2015. We won't even talk about the peptide scandal, so I'll give you a free ball for that one. But my favourite memory of the Dragons, I've got to go back to 1999 with the prelim semi-final against the Sharkies, and Chock Mundine scored 3 tries and give you two front flips, and he taught the Peach a lesson that day, I thought.
Mhm.
Your memories wouldn't be quite as fond that day.
No, it wasn't. I remember watching Channel 9. It was on delay back then. We weren't yet on live TV. So I'd actually listened to 2G, call it. And all I heard was Monday this, Monday that. And I thought, well, you guys are going to win the premiership because the winner of that game is going to win the title.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we thought that too.
Monday was 10 out of 10 against us. But if he passes, you guys are celebrating the title.
That's right. Yeah. We can go back to that.
But that's the memory I take out of that because, the day, not so good. You guys were deserved winners.
Hey, thanks, man. Has anyone else got any questions for Dan? You want to grill him a bit more?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so guys, I think Muzza, I think you had a question to throw to him just regarding the history.
Oh yeah. Dan, now obviously there's a bit of a history and a bit of a rivalry between the you guys, the little brother and us big brother clubs. Now I was actually born in Sydney, but I moved and grew up in Darwin, and I moved to Queensland 30 years ago. So I never grew up around the area, and I never got the true sort of feeling of the rivalry. So can you touch on that with us a bit, mate?
Yeah, I mean, you guys are big brother. I mean, simply put, I mean, we've got the wood over you in the last few years, but going back in history, I mean, even prior to the merger, I mean, St George were the team. Everyone supported St George, and Cronulla were the ones you went to be different. Like it's completely changed now. I mean, Cronulla in the Shire is once again well and truly the team. But I mean, I got friends, I got family on both sides of the fence, so I don't feel the hatred. I'm more Manly are bigger rivals to me in that I don't like them. Whereas the Dragons, okay, if you guys beat us this weekend, I'm going to hate you for a couple of days. But when you won the title, I had some mates who, they deserve that win. Whereas Manly, yeah. But in terms of the players, I mean, we saw the blow up from your fan base when Cam McInnes came across. I mean, he wanted to play lock. You guys didn't have a spot, so he moved for that. And all the Dragons, they were calling him Judas and making, horrible comments. So obviously there's a rivalry there. The last couple of years, I mean, Shark Park V2, Cogger was ours. We won more games there than you, and we had more fans there than you. So we have a bit of a laugh at it. But, I mean, if you guys get us this week, all that recent history goes out the window, and we got to cop the little brother again. The rivalry's definitely there, mate, and it's certainly a game we circle when we see it in the fixture list.
Yeah, so Dan, I'll read you out the answer that Captain Donny, the usual host of the program, sent me earlier. So think about the Dragons winning for 11 years in a row, 56-66, right? The Sharks come into the competition in 1967. They literally exist because of the success that we had. That's the only reason they exist. Now, that's got to give you guys a massive chip on your shoulders, I would think. Now, we basically look down our noses at you guys and always have. You are our little brother, and our success and history will always cast a shadow over you. Now, as St George, Illawarra, we're either side of you. So geographically, you're right between our reasons. So got anything to say to that, Dan?
Look, yeah, definitely. I'm too young to remember all that, so it didn't happen as far as I'm concerned. Look, our joke is you guys are St George and Illawarra are just there for the Leagues Club. So, I mean, the Illawarra Juniors are fantastic, but as far as we see it, you guys are St George. When they take the derby down the whatever to Wollongong, it annoys us as fans.
Same here.
Annoys us too, mate.
It's a local derby. It's across, literally, I could walk there if I really wanted to. So, that's always going to be the perception. And right now that perception's incorrect because, as I said, we've got a couple in a row over you, and we'll play finals this year, and I dare say you might not. So,
no, we're still saying we're going to make the finals. Don't worry about that.
No,
Yeah,
I
man,
suspect you
thanks.
might be right about that, Dan.
All right, Dan, thanks for coming on, man. You've been great. I hope we haven't grilled you too hard. Good luck for the weekend, but I don't really mean that. All as I hope for is we get a fair referee.
No, look, it is our boy. It's the best referee in the game, Todd Smith. Thanks so much for having me on. Like, best of luck. I'm hoping for a 30-28 game. A couple of years ago, we saw the worst game in the world when Chan Townsend kicked the field goal in a game neither team wanted to win. Let's make it different this weekend. Let's have a beauty.
All right, thanks, man. Thanks for coming
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Cheers, Dan.
All right, back to you, Haz.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. And yeah, what a fantastic guy, even for a Shark supporter. So the next thing we're going to do, Chloe, there's some interesting matchups in the two sides this week. What matchups are you really looking forward to? What's really going to get you going on the weekend?
Okay, so I've got a list, so bear with me. The first one is the number 7s, Hunt versus Hines. I think that would be a good one. Kicking style, how they will go. Ben Hunt was a bit quiet last week against the Broncos, so don't know if he's just maybe letting the young superstars or just having a little off day, but I'm looking forward to it. And with Hines coming back from injury, he'll have a lot more endurance and speed. So I would like that one. Number 4, Lomax versus Talakai. That'd be also, if that's all right. I just got this off NRL.com. So everyone else, is that right? Is that the right one, or I was just going off NRL.com?
Lomax Talakai, I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, is it? Oh, because last week it was different. So I was like making sure I was on the right, you know. So yeah,
that's just Hook's little trick. He's trying to trick the opposition. You see.
Yeah. Well, I think that's
one spot and then moves them.
Yeah, of course. It makes me confused. Rafa as well. I think number 5 as well. Rafa and I forgot his last name. Sorry, mind me. Ronald.
Hello.
Yeah. Ronaldo. Yep. I think that the speedsters. It would be the speedsters. So I would like to see how that will go. As well, because they are both very fast, and the speed that they both like, and the tries. Even on the Broncos game, Rafa was just like, he bowled everyone over. It was amazing the way he just it was glided. I was like, oh, that's great. That's what we need. So also Bird versus Finucane as well. I think that'll be an interesting match as well. I didn't put Mumbai, sorry everyone. I put Jacob Little versus Brayley. I just think that would be good to see. But the whole Sharks team I just think their layout is going to be good. And it's going to be a good match. I hope it's a close match. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I love the local derby. It's the best one because you just get that itch, you know. You're like, oh. And because I live in Cronulla, I just want to show off my proudness of the Dragons as well. Anyone else? Jump in. I just started. If anyone else has any matchups for me, I'm here.
Yeah, look, Clay, I think you pretty much nailed it. I cannot wait to see I can't wait to see what Brayley can do against Little when he eventually comes on, because I don't think Mbai is going to be on there for any longer than about 20 minutes. I think Hook would have learned his lesson after last week, or one would hope anyway. I think while Brayley's definitely got Mbai for speed, and certainly for dummy half work, I reckon Little's probably got Brayley covered. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with that. That's what I'm really looking forward to. So just on Moses Mbai and Muzza, I'm a little bit confused here. Can you tell me, why does Mbai continue to get picked week in, week out?
I've got nothing. I can't answer that question. Look, all I can think of, it takes us back to the Corey Norman days, doesn't it? When, everyone was saying, why are we persevering with Norman? And it went on and on for 18 months or whatever. Look, I can only think of the fact that he's trying to bring Little on when he's a little bit fresher, when the forwards are tied down a bit. And if that's the case, I fully 100% understand that and agree with it. But I think, especially last week, he brought him on too late and then didn't bring him back soon enough. So I don't know. There's not a real answer I can give you, Matty. Like who knows? Who really knows? Only Hook himself knows why he's going to persevere with him. When we all think, and we're all experts. Let's not muck around. We know we're experts. We all know better. We know there's someone better to do the job. But yeah, look, I really don't know. Like love child. I don't know whether someone joked today that it was written in his contract that he'd be in the 17 every week if he was fit. Obviously that's not true, but yeah, look, there's who knows.
I don't know if Little's an 80-minute player yet. And to start, it's fairly hard to start a rugby league match and you get bashed around a bit. But I think bring him on after about 15, and play him from there. Play for the rest of the game if you have to. But yeah,
it doesn't have to be that structured either. Sorry, Tony. It doesn't have to be that structured either. Like everyone says that, he's going to come on, he's going to play 65 minutes, he's going to come on at the 15-minute mark. Like the coach and the players, they've got to start thinking a little bit differently and bring him on when they need him on. Like if he needs to be on after 10 minutes, throw him on after 10 minutes. Who gives a shit? And by gets 10 minutes, so what? If you can see we're struggling in the ruck because Mboy's getting them, throw him on after 8 minutes. I don't give a shit.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think he's not an 80-minute player yet, so they've got to rest him a bit, I think.
Yeah, I think that's part of the problem too. Is that it's a good idea what he's doing. Keeping Little back until the forwards get tired, but surely there has got to be a better option to start than Mbai. Maybe have a look at when he gets a bit of form back. Junior Ramon comes in and plays a starting hooker role for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. And then just basically switch him with Little. That way, at least you got another kicking option from dummy half as well. And if anything happens to Sullivan, we've got someone who can play a similar sort of game.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But I think if and when Amone comes back, I think that'll be the death knell for Moses Mbai. I think they'll have to say goodbye to him, I'd say.
Yeah, look, I can't see him playing anywhere past the end of this season, to be perfectly honest. So what do I do? I might just go around the grounds with this next one. So Big T, we'll stay with you for this one.
Yes, sir.
So which we've sort of just been through, who would your starting and backup hookers be?
Oh, it's easy. Starting hooker would be Little, and our number 14 has to be, at the moment, Jason Sullivan. So that's pretty easy one to go with.
So assuming that all players are present and correct?
All players are fit. Amone's playing 6. Jaden Sullivan will be playing 14, and Jacob Little will be playing 9.
Chloe, do you agree with Big T, or you got a different idea?
I'd like Sullivan to stay at 6. I would Little. I don't know actually. I was actually going through thinking. I would like Little to stay, but Mumbai, and then I was thinking about Bird because he was like a utility. But then I'm like, no, because Bird's got a bit. He's not speed, and I watch a lot of football, and the likes of like I know I keep saying about the Rabbitohs is because I just find that what's his name? The number 9 for them, not Cooper Cronk. Cook. That's it, Cook. He does dummy half very well. So we need someone like that. See? And I just feel the backup, I don't know. Like, I'm not, but I just not sure at the moment. But I do think Little needs to get more time on the field. I know Toby Couchman is in. I was thinking of his brother, Ryan. I don't know what's his position in the under 20s or whatever it's called. Bring maybe someone from there. I don't know. What's that a point?
If you're looking to bring in a hooker from the lower grades,
Yeah,
probably probably have to look at it to be Connor Mollison, if anyone.
Oh yeah, he played very well. I've heard lots of good things about him.
Yeah, well, I know Donnie's a huge Mollison fan, as I think are a lot of the panel. But yeah, I think just trying to find Ryan Couchman. I'm pretty sure he's a forward like Toby. But
okay.
going to get a hooker from sort of the lower grades. It'd have to, for mine,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both
I
back
know.
rowers.
Okay, thanks for that. Yeah, I was just thinking. Yeah, I was just thinking to shine the youngsters, which our club needs sometimes instead of the oldies,
Yeah, we know Hook loves the old boys.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, he never plays the young guys." Well, have a look at what he's been doing for the last few weeks.
Yeah.
So, I think we can put that one to bed. So, Muzza, who would your starting and backup hookers be, mate?
Yeah, look, I'd like Little to be an 80-minute player, and if he can, hopefully that's what Hook's doing at the moment, just sort of developing back into that 80-minute player. And then look, I think Jaden Sullivan's got to stay at 6, and then we bring him on to take in that 14 jersey, pretty much like I think what he was going to do with Buddy, put him in that 14, over the next sort of year or so, develop him into that position until Ben Hunt retires. But the incidents that have happened, unfortunate for Junior, that put him in this position now, where I think he's going to probably have to take that 14 role now, while Buddy's taken that opportunity at 6 now, and I think he's deserved to keep it for the rest of the year. And then I think Amon comes off that 14 for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned sort of Junior's sort of little off-field dramas, but maybe a blessing in disguise of sorts. So we've got the opportunity now to see what Bud Sullivan can do in the halves. I mean, 5'8" and halfback these days are pretty much interchangeable. I'd much rather see him in the halves than as a hooker. He's not a hooker, he's a half. So I think we've got a much better chance with him in the halves. I welcome any objections to that. That's just my thoughts on it. Now,
yeah, look, I don't think Amon being a 14 would necessarily be a backup hooker. I mean, he played a little bit there in that role last year, early on in the season, coming off the bench. So he can do it. But I mean, you've got Bud who can jump in there, and we've got Ben Hunt who he can jump in there if we've got the 3 of them on the field at any time. Any of them can jump in and dummy half out of the 3 of them, and give us more direction.
Around all the time, like
Moses and made one run for 5 metres the other night.
Yeah, he did one run for 5.
It's the other game I think he made 3 runs for 12 or whatever it was, and he's just not effective around that dummy half and up the middle. We need someone taking him forward, and you can see as soon as Little gets on the field what happens.
Yeah, we saw what happens when Little comes off and Mbai comes back on. That's more or less the time where Brisbane ran in the first of their 4 tries, was within a couple of minutes of Mbai coming back on.
Yeah, Mbai's run stats, by the way, the first game it was 1 run 9 metres. The second game it's 1 run 5 metres. And he played 35, 33 minutes and 34 minutes. So 1 run in 34 minutes is not good.
Yeah, he should be struggling to make the reserve grade side based on those sort of figures.
Yeah.
Now, one of our favourite segments on the Mad Dragons podcast is Muzza's multi. Muzza, what do you got for us this week?
All I want, all I need, all I crave is a big multi. All I want, all I need, all I crave is a big multi. Money's multi.
Okay, well, hopefully I've got something a little bit better than the last couple of weeks. Oh no, I've lost it. Here we go.
Third time's a charm, they say, Muzz.
Third time. Yeah, so I apologise to the family of League for my inefficiencies, but yeah, so this week we're going to start off on Thursday night again. Theory as an anytime try scorer. I think the Panthers the week off will really put it to para. Katoni Staggs is in some decent form. He'll go over against the Dolphins, and I reckon that'll be a pretty high scoring game, so there should be lots of try scorers in that. I've picked the Warriors giving away 4.5 now against the Bulldogs.
I think the Warriors will win that.
I think there's a few people that'd love to see that happen. Look, Warriors over there at home, they're going to have, they're at home, aren't they? Yeah, they're going to have a huge following. They're going to hopefully take it, giving away 4.5. And the Raiders, I've got in a race to 30. I haven't seen that option before. I thought, I like that, something different. So basically, they're going to hit 30 points before Newcastle Knights do. So I think they'll hit 30 before the Newcastle Knights score a try, to be honest. So, so hopefully we get one up for the Family of League Foundation. And again, I do apologise for how bad I've been. And if you're having a bet on the footy this week, bet with your head, not over it.
Yep, never a truer word was spoken, Muzza. So some NRL news just came out in the last sort of few hours. Channel 9 are reporting that the Dragons held a board meeting today and have told Anthony Griffin that he will have to reapply for his position in 2024, regardless of the results from this year, and that there are 3 possible replacements that are being looked at, namely, and they're all ex-players, Jason Riles, who's spent some time with down in Melbourne with Craig Bellamy, Ben Hornby and Dean Young. So, Chloe, which one of those would you most like to see if Griffin does get his marching orders at the end of the year?
I'd say Jason Riles because he was with Supercoach. Well, I think Craig Bellamy, a bit respect him. I don't like the Storm, but Craig Bellamy, imagine being in that room when they lose. Like the aggression and the passion. I would like Jason Riles. But FYI, why is there ex-players, can I ask? Like, Dean Young is, like, up in North Queensland and Ben Hornby is at the Rabbitohs. I doubt they would want to come back. Like, I'm just dumbfounded that it has to be, like, ex-players.
Well, there doesn't seem to be any coaches knocking down the door. So, until we can get a better sort of management structure going, we're going to have to basically settle for, whoever's silly enough to accept the cash to come down.
Us four will do it. Us four, okay? You take the forwards, I'll take the wingers. Okay?
Right.
Buzz, let's go.
You say that comes to the daily telly crap.
So it was reported by, it was on Channel 9, but I think it was in the Sydney Morning Herald as well with Michael Sharms.
That's the telly crap anyway. But apparently I heard that he was told last year that if the results didn't come, he'd have to reapply for his job. Today's meeting had nothing to do with Hook's job. I heard that on NRL 360 earlier on. They're saying that was not discussed at this meeting. But yeah, Jason Riles, I think he'd be the one for the job. He's been under Bellamy. He's been under Robinson. He wasn't a very smart player, but I think he'd be a smart coach.
Well, if we get him, we'll certainly find out. Now,
absolutely.
I might throw this one to you, Big T. I was going to ask Mick, but he's a notable absentee this evening.
He'll be here.
So all 3 names that I mentioned as possible replacements are ex-players. Now, does that concern you?
Nah.
That we've tried ex-players before and haven't had any success whatsoever?
Let's have a look. Craig Bellamy, what's he? Ex-player. Kevy Walters, what's he? Ex-player. Every fucking coach is an ex-player. Excuse me.
Ex-Dragons player, I should.
Oh, ex-Dragons player. All right. Look, how do we know that Jason Riles won't be the next Craig Bellamy? You've only got to try, mate. You've got to give him a go. If he doesn't work, we'll put shit on him and we'll get him kicked out. You know, that's how it works around the Dragons. Yeah, I do feel sorry for Hook. He's he didn't have a very good salary cap like figure. It was all extended, overpaid. We had Corey Norman on $800,000 a year. That's fucking crazy. No,
But
but I
last year,
think
he had the team that he wanted.
who?
Hook,
Not when he
No,
started.
Hook had the team that he had the team that he wanted.
Not when he started.
Not
still
when he
had the
started,
team.
but last season he did.
That's right. He's had 2 years in the last season, didn't he? So he had enough players that he wanted to bring over. I thought we showed signs last year that we were a good side. And this year we haven't really played that bad for 152 minutes. We haven't played that bad. We played pretty well, I think. That last 8 minutes against the Broncos, that was just diabolical. We ran out of steam. That's exactly what it was. And all their tries come off the back of our mistakes anyway. So we can stop making mistakes, go for 80 minutes. We're still in with a chance. Still a long way to go.
Oh, no, 100%. And I think they'll be better off for that. I think they'll be put through their paces at training this week. Off that last 10 minutes. But people will say, "Oh, you can't use the heat and everything as an excuse." Well, you probably can to a degree, but Brisbane had to play in the same conditions, so it was just the extra defence that we had to do. Muzzy, you had something to add to that?
Yeah, mate. Just back to the coaching choices. I think Chloe just mentioned that while they want to come back to the Dragons, I think the other way around. To be honest, I think as soon as those blokes left the club, I think their sights were set on getting that apprenticeship and getting that experience and coming back and leading the club. We know how passionate they were as players. Would they make good coaches over here? Don't know. With the background and the apprenticeships, certainly I'd probably be backing Riles ahead of them at the moment. But look, I really believe, and everyone knows what the club meant to both of them. Riles, played for a couple of different clubs. They played for the Roosters and had a stint 1 year, I think, with the Storm. But the other guys are Dragons through and through. And regardless of whether anyone wants them back or anything, they're going to give their all if they do, and whether they're good enough is another thing. But, they're definitely Red V.
Well, you never know if you never go. So,
and now with Craig Young gone, it'll be open for Dean to come back, I'd say.
No, that's
right. As long as Craig Young has got nothing to do with the club, if he is a coach, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he can come back now. So,
yeah, because the deal was that basically Riles could not be a coach while his father was still involved in the administration, which he no longer is. So that absolutely opens the door for Dean Young, who's about as passionate a Dragon as you'll ever meet. Whether he's up to it, coaching wise is a different story. But I guess we'll see what we see. So now, Muzza, which one of those three guys would you most like to see if Griffin's disposed of? Who would you like to see? Riles, Hornby, or Dean Young?
Yeah, I'll after everything I just said, I'd probably stick with Riles, just with the apprenticeship that he has had. Learning from Bellamy and Robinson, the two of the biggest coaches in the game over the last sort of 10 years. Bellamy even longer. But I think if we touched on it earlier, Bellamy hasn't really done anything outside of Melbourne. I'm not saying he hasn't done a good job there, but we all know how much of a influence he's made on that club. So, and being in that environment and being under an apprenticeship with someone like that's obviously going to have him in good stead. But I'd probably go Riles at this stage, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
All I've got to ask is why can't we have all three? Because Hornby and Young are both not ready for being lead coaches, head coach. Not ready. They've got plenty of time to go. bring Riles in. He's been under Robinson and Bellamy, so that's a great apprenticeship. But why not have all three?
Well, would all three one of them to come is the question.
Yeah, mate. Man.
Well, could
And
always
they've got to split the salary, do they? I don't think they'll
I'm
be
not
doing that.
saying no. Like we've got the two guys under Griffin now. We've got the two guys under there, and they could become as attack and defence coaches easy. But they're not ready to be head coaches yet.
Yep. Well, Fitzgibbon wasn't either.
Well, Fitzgibbon again, he's been under Robinson for that long, so he's come from a good stable.
Yeah.
Yeah, wouldn't have minded Fitzgibbon either. To be honest, even though he is.
Fitzgibbon's more an Illawarra guy, I think. He played for the St George Illawarra team, but he was more an Illawarra guy, I'd say.
The coaches that he's been learning under, I don't think anyone would really care.
Who's that?
Fitzgibbon.
Oh, he's been under Robinson.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like if he's been under a coach of the caliber of Robinson, is anyone really going to give a shit who he used to play for?
No, that's right. No,
look at him and go, right, he's learned under one of the best.
Well, he just knew Illawarra, St George Illawarra were a basket pace and he didn't want to come. He didn't want to fix it.
I think that's basically why I think Bellamy knocked us back to stay with Melbourne for what I believe is considerably less money.
What a better way to show how
look
good you
around the
can
club
coach.
and go, no.
Hey, what better way to come to a club like ours and show that you can turn
Oh,
it
exactly
around
right. Yeah, I think Hook's done a great job with the salary cap. He's brought it all back in line, bringing these young kids through. Not signing the superstars, signing the lesser players in the NRL. Well, you can call them lesser players, but they might come to the Dragons and show us up.
Lesser known players is probably
Lesser known players,
yeah.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Probably
Like,
kind of.
Say Musgrave, Ben Murdoch, Marcelo, they're not lesser known players, but they're not top tier players.
Like they're not superstars in the.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, the
So
three sense of the word.
that's keeping our salary cap down. We have got players on large amounts, but I'm sure he's got them fixed up.
Yeah, there's some pretty decent young blokes in this side on the weekend too. It was good to see Josh Kerr starting to hit a bit of form too. I don't think he's particularly that old either. So it's good to see him sticking with some of these guys. I mean, yeah, obviously I wish he'd stop sticking with bloody Mbai. But you look at Little, Musgrove, I don't think it's that old, Couchman, Kerr, and he's Michael Molo, he's only young. I can't wait to see Max Fine when he eventually does get his shot as well. So all these people saying that he doesn't play the young guys, that's complete crap.
Yeah.
He's actually, I think he's actually done pretty well with the resources that he's had in terms of who's been able to get to play. So got to give him a little bit of credit. I know we do put a lot of shit on him, but he's done. I think he's done pretty good with what he's had to play with.
Yeah. Can I just mention, Matt, that congratulations to the Illawarra South Coast Dragons. They made the grand final in the Laurie Daly Cup. So they'll be playing on the weekend.
Right, so at least we get one team in a grand final at least.
They're playing up against the Monaro Colts, and I think they touched us up earlier in the season. So I have to ask Donnie that question.
Yeah, it's unfortunate we don't have the benefit of Donnie's thinking tonight, but I think you're right. He'd definitely be hungry for a little bit of revenge on that one.
Yeah, well, it's good to see him there. That's good. Congratulations, boys.
So yeah, congratulations to the. I
think Laurie Day's under 18s. I think under 18s.
I believe so. Not 100% across. Across that comp, to be perfectly honest with you. So what we're going to do now is we'll just go through the rest of the games for this round. So starting on Thursday night with Parramatta and Penrith, we'll just sort of go around the grounds here. Big T, who have you got?
I think that game's going to be an absolute cracker. It's time for Parramatta to show up or shut up. They've got to beat these Panthers. Panthers are beatable. Panthers are beatable. They're missing Coruscant and Kickow. They've lost a number of other players. Tyrone May on the wing, he's gone too. So they've lost a few players from last year's premiership side. But no, that's going to be an absolute pearler of a game. And I think I'm tipping Penrith by a point.
By a point, you reckon it's going to be a close one? Muzza, who have you got?
Mute.
Which game are we looking at?
So Parramatta Penrith, which is at Combank Stadium on Thursday.
Yeah, Penrith, mate. I think Parramatta are going to find it tough. Penrith have lost some players, but they're not the same team without Coruscant. So that has hurt them a lot. But yeah, I think the Panthers will bounce back.
Chloe, you're on.
I'm here. Sorry, I was listening, and then I was thinking. Being the grand final rematch, I'm a bit like Big T. It's going like when Parramatta's on, they're on. But there's just been little things like their spine. I don't know. I think it's going to be a very close one, and I think a point. I'm going with Penrith. I just think Penrith have that more desire. I know Parramatta do, but I don't know. Something's lacking in their roster. I just don't know what, but something's just lacking.
I think the Moses contract's hanging over their heads at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. But they can't, and their king, they always go on about him. He's just overrated to me. I forget. Starts with C. I can't say.
Gutho.
Yeah, Gutho. That's it.
King Gutho.
Yeah, I can never say his last name.
He gave himself his own nickname. He gave himself the nickname King.
Yeah, I can't be. I just don't rate him. He annoys me sometimes. I'm like, yeah, okay, shut up, sit down. What about you, Tasman? What do you think?
Yeah, I still think even without Coruscant, I reckon they can still get the job done. Parramatta the first few weeks have been pretty bloody awful, to be honest. And I think this contract saga is starting to get to Mitchell Moses as well. So yeah, I think he's probably playing under a considerable amount of strain. So I don't think his head's quite where it needs to be. So I think Penrith is going to be way too strong for Parramatta on this occasion. The second game, which is 6 o'clock down in Melbourne, is Melbourne and against the Tigers. Chloe, I'll start with you this time. How do you think that one's going to turn out?
Oh, well, with the way the Tigers are going at the moment, but is anyone else just really happy that the Storm are like below like the 8th and not winning? Like, I'm actually excited. Like, yes. So this game, I have no idea. I'll say the Storm because at the moment the Tigers are shit house. So I'll just say the Storm just because I feel they're a bit better. But that's my point.
No,
there you go.
That's probably a fair assessment, Chloe. Yeah, as bad as Melbourne have kind of been so far, the Tigers have just been a whole different stratosphere of worse. Big T?
I think this is going to be a trouncing. I think you've got Munster back for the Storm. He's going to come back and he's going to kick them hard, I think. Look, the Tigers came back against the Bulldogs and they showed a bit of grit. But they'll go to Melbourne and I think they'll come home with their tails between their legs. Melbourne by plenty.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will be thinking along similar sort of line to you, Big T. Muzzy, you thinking anything different?
No, mate, no. Yeah, Melbourne by at least 16. Like you said, Munster back. I don't think there's any question. I know we all thought that they'd beat the Titans last week too, but Storm don't normally lose 2 in a row. They did. Well, I lost 3 in a row last year, so I just proved myself wrong. But
Does happen. Doesn't happen
3 or
very
maybe
often,
4.
I'll tell you.
No, it doesn't happen very often. But yeah, I think the $1.39 there is a fair indication of how they're going to go.
Yeah, I'd have to probably have to agree there. Yeah, I just cannot for the life of me seeing the Tigers getting anywhere near Melbourne, especially with Muzza coming back. That's a huge in for Melbourne. But I think Melbourne will probably run away with that. We could see a cricket score.
Yeah. Any news on Hughes though? Wasn't he? His judiciary,
Okay,
or did he get
Hughes,
cleared already?
To my understanding, is out.
Yeah, I don't think it'll make a difference. I think Munster can cover him.
I believe, but yeah,
Well, he's named in the side. He's named in the side.
Yeah,
his
he's
name, but
named
whether or not he plays is a different, different story. So yeah, so I think we're all pretty unanimous on that one. Now, so the other Friday game is arguably the game of the round, which is the Dolphins and the Broncos, the two Queensland heavyweights going head to head for the first time ever. It's probably the reason why we lost last week, so that both teams can be undefeated.
I said that.
Muzz, how do you see this one going?
Oh, look, the way I want it to go, I want Broncos to get flogged. I think there'll be a lot of points scored, like I said earlier. Dolphins 46-40. No, I don't think it'll be that bad, but I do think there'll be a lot of points scored. They both throw the ball around a bit, and they can both be a little bit inefficient in defence. But the Dolphins are throwing the ball around okay. They're looking good. They're 3-0. Can't get a better start of the season than what people expected. So I really hope that they do put it to them and beat the Broncos.
Well, any day that the Broncos get beaten is a good day. Chloe, who do you think's going to get the chockies?
Well, I'm hoping the Dolphins, because after last week with our team, I'm like, nah, revenge is sweet. So, yeah. But I don't know if Kafusi, I was just looking at the website to see if he's cleared or not cleared with his big tackle. Can we talk about the tackles? Because, like, when I was watching it, when I was a kid, like in the 90s, the tackles were the best thing because, I still remember Paul Harrigan and the other guy from Manly, Steve Lyons, I think, and they had a big...
Carroll.
Yeah, that's it, Mark Carroll, yeah. They... like coat hanging each other and they knocked each other out, and that was the best thing about football. Now you can't even put a shoulder in. Like, I understand because of the jaw and everything, but I still, it's the impact, but like I do like those big hits. Like, you go, oh, did you feel that, or did you hear it? Like, I don't know, sometimes I just miss that, the miss.
Well, you were taught back in the 80s and the 90s when you're playing football that the halfback must hit the ground every time he gets the ball.
Yeah.
Every time he gets the ball, the halfback must be put in his ass. But now you can't do that. Kafusi's out for 4 weeks now. Gone 4 weeks. He got found guilty this evening. That's why I'm going for the Broncos. Because Isaiah Katoa hasn't trained this week either. So he's got a couple of days to get back on track. But if he doesn't play, if Kafusi doesn't play, I don't think the Dolphins have got the depth to beat the Broncos.
Yeah, I just have this suspicion that Brisbane are going to show the new boys in town a thing or two, and I think we could see the Dolphins come crashing back down to earth on that one. So the first Saturday game up in North Queensland is the Cowboys taking on the Gold Coast Titans. I'll start with you this time, Chloe. Who do you see winning that one? Do you think, based on how the Titans performed against us, what do you think the Cowboys will do?
I think it will be close. It's another like derby for them because it's Queensland. But if they played like they played with us, they'll get beat, no doubt. And Cowboys got beat last week, so I think they want to refresh. So I do like the Cowboys. I'm hoping they do like win this week. So I'm going Cowboys by 4.
Big T.
Who did the Cowboys play? Warriors last week.
Yeah.
I think the Cowboys missed Drinkwater last week when he was because he's been off now because he broke Corey Oates' jaw. No, I think the Cowboys will be too strong for the Titans up in North Queensland. I don't mind the Cowboys' side, like Tommy Dearden and Chad Townsend are looking specials, but yeah, they hit a bit of a bit of a patch, the Cowboys, but I think they'll come good against the Titans.
Yeah, I have a suspicion that's probably going to go a similar way. Muzz?
Yeah, I think the Cowboys, and I'm thinking only because they're at home. To be honest, I think they're going to struggle a lot more than a lot of people give them credit for. I think last year, yeah, they had a good year, but I really think the Cowboys aren't going to go as well as this year as a lot of people had them going. So, but I will tip them against the Titans only because they're at home.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys might be a little bit too strong for the Titans on this occasion. So the next game we'll have a look at is Souths and Manly. Big T, I'll start with you this time. How do you see that one going? Have Souths impressed you enough so far to think that they can get the job done?
Well, Manly are another team that are unbeaten this year. They've won 2 games because they had a bye. Again, they've got a good side with Tommy Trbojevic in the side. I think they're a stronger team, but I think the Bunnies will get the chocolates this week because it's at their home ground.
Muzza?
Yeah, look, even with their defeat against the Rabbits, I think that against the Roosters, I think the Rabbits will be too strong and Manly. I'm with you, T, with Tommy Trbojevic coming back though. He's certainly a weapon for them, and he'll certainly make a big difference. But I think South's in a tight one. But yeah, hopefully Tommy makes it. I love watching him play. To be honest, he's one of those players that comes along, from another club that you like watching play. There's not many of them that come along in my years. I think the last one for me was Brett Kenny. But yeah, I love watching Tommy play when he's at full fitness and at full tilt. He's he's good to watch. But yeah, I think Rabbits.
Yeah, I think Rabbits might be a little bit too strong. I think Latrell might have another blinder. I think I think he kind of got played into a bit of form last week. Chloe?
As long as Cody Walker gets belted.
Anytime he gets belted, it's a good day.
I don't mind Cody Walker. I like his aggression. He reminds me of one of my brothers. I always think that I just love his aggression on the field. I just,
his aggression in the 80s would have been like a little girl.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
playing against me.
I know. My dad would have probably just sidewiped him, or because once upon a time my dad played. He played a lot of football. I was the ball girl, so like he would injure, like he'll probably break someone's jaw. But the ref knew me. He's like, "What did you do that for? Now I've got to write you up." It's like, "No, don't. You said you didn't hear it. You didn't see it. Don't worry." I was like, "Oh my god."
If Cody Walker played in the 80s, his own teammates would have bashed him.
Yeah.
Sorry, we were doing tipping. Sorry.
I'm going for the Rabbitohs just because I don't really like Manly, so I'm going for Rabbitohs.
Yeah, okay, so we're all Rabbitohs on that one. Now, the next one is Warriors and Bulldogs. Now, the Bulldogs so far this year have been pretty bloody awful. Warriors, you never know which side's going to turn up. So, Chloe, might as well stay with you. What do you think about this game?
Well, being back over in New Zealand, I think the Warriors will be pumped and be excited to go home. So I'm going to pick the Warriors. I agree with you, Hasman. It's like hot and cold with the Warriors. And when I do pick them, they lose. And when I don't pick them, they win. So I'm confused. So I'll just go in the middle. I'm in the middle. No, I'm going for the Warriors. Go for the Warriors.
Let's go on Warriors indeed. Muzza?
Mate, the thing I like about the Bulldogs is the fact they spent all that money and they're still shit. I'm going to go to the Warriors. Mount Smart Stadium. Yeah, they'll be revved up for it. Yeah, hopefully the real Warriors turn up, and yeah, I'm going to Warriors.
Yeah, I'm going to the Warriors too. They've had 2 wins. The game they lost. It was round 2. They lost the game. But yeah, I think the Warriors would be too strong for the Bulldogs back over in New Zealand.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the Warriors for one reason and one reason only. I'm just gonna make sure he's actually in the side.
Jackson Ford, he's back. He's back. He's there.
Oh, he's bro. The bro man.
Actually.
Oh,
He's there, number 12.
No, he is there. No, he's
there.
No,
Number 11.
He is there. That's right.
Yep, I'm going to take the Warriors purely for Jackson Ford. Love what I saw from him in the trials. If I'm perfectly honest, love to have him back at the Dragons someday. But yeah, I reckon they'll win just because he's there. That one's especially for Donny. I know if he was here, he'd give me a whole bunch of shit for that. And so the last game we'll look at is Newcastle and Canberra. Now it is up there in Newcastle. Canberra did manage to get away with it against the Sharks last week. Newcastle, you never know which version of them is going to show up. Big T, how do you see that one going?
I see Ricky's boys. Well, like Muzza said, they'll run away with the game, I think. What was your bet, Muzz? They got to score 30 before the Knights score a try?
Something like that.
Yeah. I think they will. I don't think they'll score 30, sorry, Muzz, but the score will be 24-10.
Maybe pretty confident on that one, too.
Oh, yeah, no. I don't like the Raiders. They're one of the sides that I don't like. Them and the Bulldogs. I've got a few Raiders mates who through the years they've just smashed me when we had the big rivalry going with them and they won every game. But
those were the days, the hoodoo.
Yeah, but my best mate in Queensland, he's a Raider, and we give each other crap all the time. But I think the Raiders will beat the Knights up at McDonald Jones Stadium.
Yeah, I was actually there the night that we broke the hoodoo down in Canberra, and I was also there for the night it bloody started again.
Oh my goodness! All your fault, husband. I thought
I was good luck, and then all of a sudden I thought I was bad luck. So, Chloe, you got any love for the Raiders, or you reckon the Knights will get it done at home?
Nah, they're the same with the Tigers at the moment. They're just playing shit, and you just don't know what you get with them. But also, my dad's a Raider, so he gives me shit. So I go with my heart. So I'll go the Raiders.
I'll let you get away with that. Only once. Can I or shall I let you go away with that, Chloe?
I can't. You know what? I cannot pick against the Dragons because I just feel filthy. I just feel really bad. Like even tipping, even though it's like one of the top teams, like no, I just can't. I always do it to myself. It's because I'm secretly, I'm like, come on, just win. Come on. Just win.
I shudder to think the number of tipping points I've lost over the years because I've backed the Dragons. It's absolutely horrendous. Muzz, you a Newcastle fan, or you reckon Canberra will get up?
Well, I've got them in my multi, so I've got to stick to it. Yeah, I think Newcastle are in a bit of trouble too, to be honest. But yeah, Raiders by 30 to 6.
30.
I've got to hit the 30 for me multi. So yes.
But I've got to say, as a Dragons fan, I'm glad the Tigers and the Knights are in our competition.
Yeah, at this stage. We might be battling with them, but
we'll be battling with them. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. Well, at least we got someone with us.
Yeah.
So to all Dragons fans out there, just if you're ever feeling a little bit down, a little bit despondent about how we're going, just remember, at least we're not the Tigers. Okay, so now just before we finish up, just need to put in a bit of a bit of a plug for the Mad Dragons Vodcast store. You can get there by going to etsy.com/au/shop/Mad Dragons Vodcast. You'll find all sorts of merchandise. We've got t-shirts, we've got hoodies, we've got cotton t-shirts, lovely looking model there, Big T.
Thank you very much. I've got it tonight. Look, here we go.
Yes, so do I. Do you have the one with the fire up?
I just got to say too, I heard the Mad Dragons podcast. I'm bringing out a lingerie line.
Oh.
For a man who wants his wife or his girlfriend to have everything they want. Could be both. Could be wife and girlfriend. But yeah, no. I'm just kidding. Sorry, guys.
I hope he doesn't ask me to model that. Yeah, so we got beach towels, we got mugs, we got tank tops,
jackets.
You name it,
we've got it.
You name it, we've got it. Exactly right. So get on it, have a look, and yeah, if you wear one of those t-shirts like bloody Big T's wearing, you'll have to fight them off with a stick, I'll tell you.
It's a beautiful fit. Oh, I'll tell you a story. Quick story. My son was in town yesterday or today, and he's come home, and he said to me, Dad, guess what? And he's wearing a Mad Dragons Vodcast shirt because the one I first bought doesn't fit me, it fits him. So he's in Nowra, and some guy come up to him and says, hey, I watched that show. That's a great show. He says, do you know Big T? And he goes, yeah, you get me. Son goes, that's me dad. And he goes, well, Benny's my favourite. So shout out to Benny there. But yeah, no, it's happening. I think it happened to Jess as well while he was up in Fig Tree, I think it was, yeah. So we're getting noticed out there.
Yeah, the word is definitely starting to get around, and long may it continue. So just before we wrap it up, let's go with a few predictions. So Big T, give me your first try scorer, anytime try scorer, and who do you reckon's going to win?
Oh, Jesus. I'm going to go Ronaldo Mulatalo for first try scorer. He'll score the first 2 tries, I think. He's just a good player. And I think he's on the end of a pretty slick back line. So Mulatalo to score. I think Sloan will score a try. Tigers by 8. Sorry, Cronulla by 8.
Tigers.
Yeah, Tigers, Jesus. No, Cronulla by 8.
So Ronaldo first, Sloan anytime, and Sharkies by 8. So going.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, unfortunately, we've got the side to do it, but we're just not together at the moment.
Well, I was having a look at who we've got sort of as the referees. I don't know what sort of record we got under these guys, but we got the redhead Todd Smith, and we got Matt Noyan up in the box. I got no idea what sort of record we've got with these two, but time will tell on that one, I guess. Muzza, what do you reckon? First, anytime, and who's going to win?
Well, hopefully, as far as the refereeing goes, we don't need to worry about what they're going to bring to the outcome. But hopefully we can just play well enough to win without them. I think Jacob Little will score any time. I think Tyrell Sloan will score first try. I've just got to pick Dragons because that's just what I do. That's why another reason I don't win tipping comps. Dragons by 4, and Benny Hutt to kick a 40-20.
And Hutt to kick a 40-20. Well, he hasn't. He's not too sure about doing those, has he? Is he?
Benny's he's bouncing back this week.
Yeah, he was a little bit quiet last week, so I think he'll probably have a bit of a point to prove. Chloe, give us your first and anytime try scorers, and who do you reckon's going to win?
Okay, can I just say something really quickly to everyone first? Is that all right? Just first. This weekend is the local derby. It's Cronulla and St. George Illawarra. And to all fans, let's be kind to one another. What stays on the field stays on the field. Don't be smart asses to each other after the game or say, oh, you lost, you win. I had a lot of that being in Cronulla and everyone telling me to get the F home. So let's all be kind. Use your passion. Let's be kind to one another and let's just enjoy the game. There we go. And fire up, Dragons fans. Come on.
Yeah, that's probably a good message, Chloe. Cronulla's supporters do have a reputation for being a little bit rowdy. There's no need to engage them. Don't go and get yourself half full of piss and think that you can take on a whole bunch of Shark supporters. It's just not worth the effort.
Yeah, and I was only one person, let alone all. I was like, I said, I live over there, mate. Do you want to go? And he's like, oh no, I'm joking. I'm like, no, don't be silly. Okay, first try scorer. Okay, for me, I'm going to go Rafa. I think he needs a try. Rafa needs a try. Yeah, and then anytime. Oh, you know what? I might go Sullivan. I'm going to give him a plug again because he did last week. And Dragons, it's going to be close. I'm going to say by 1.
Dragons by 1. So who do you think will kick the field goal?
Maybe Sullivan. I'm just going to go with put the mock in there ready.
Sullivan.
Sorry, bud.
I was going to say field goal. I'd say either Hunt or Lomax, but that's just me. Okay,
well, Lomax did really shit last week. Like he got one, he didn't even get the penalty one, and I'm like,
well,
you think Lomax is injured?
I'm
I don't know.
I'm wondering if he might be because I've never seen him miss that many that badly.
He'll kick so low as well. Like the ball's hardly getting up above crossbar height.
Yeah, I mean there was no wind as far as I was aware. So
a couple of weeks ago, he missed the Rava try kick. He went under the posts. Didn't even make the distance. I think he might have a hip problem.
I think he very, very well may have a problem there. I suppose I better give you.
Yep, your turn has been. Who do you think first try scorer?
Okay, so I reckon Sloan will get over first. Ronaldo will score at some point, and I'm going to pick Dragons by 4. I reckon it is going to be a close one, but I reckon we will be good enough.
Yeah. That's good. Sounds good.
Sounds good to me as well. All right, we might wrap it up there, guys. So thanks for tuning in this evening. It's been a bit of an abbreviated version of the podcast. And go on, Dragons fans!
Fire up!
Fire up!
Had to get one in there for Donny.
Not quite the same, but good. Well done, Matty.
Well done.
Thanks, guys.
There's all Sunday.
Go Dragons.
Go Dragons.